feel like I could kill someone with this sweater right now. What happens if you need to take a nap and fall asleep? Alright, so today it is Foundation Friday. Happy Foundation Friday. I just got back into Seattle last night, super late from Houston, so this is the first video I'm filming in a few days. Feels good. So today we're going to be talking about a brand new product from PUR Cosmetics. This is the Bare It All Foundation 12-Hour 4-in-1 Skin Perfecting Foundation. So I have two shades here. I have the shade Porcelain and I also have Light, which I'm going to be swatching both of these shades. Obviously have a different background, lighting, everything again. I'm gonna address all of that in a second, but let's just talk about good old foundation for a second. If you're new here, I do Foundation Friday every single Friday on my channel. It's a first impression video. I have a whole Foundation Friday down below. What? Words are hard today. I have a whole Foundation Friday playlist down below in the description box. So you can find PUR Cosmetics on Ulta and on the PUR Cosmetics website. Looking on Ulta, this product retails for $39. On Ulta, it says you get 1 fluid ounce of product on their website, but on the PUR Cosmetics site and on the actual bottle here, it says you get 1.5, which is half a fluid ounce higher than most standard foundations. So you actually get a ton of product in here. So they just launched this product and they launched with 10 shades. So I'm hoping they're going to expand the shade range a bit because 10 shades isn't super great. I don't know how deep the deep shade is, but I am wearing the lightest shade Porcelain. Alright, so swatch time. Here's the PUR Cosmetics Bare It All Foundation in Porcelain, the lightest shade. Next over is the same foundation in the shade Light. This is a giant shade jump. I feel like this should be a few shades darker. Here's the Tarte Rainforest of the Sea foundation in Porcelain, the lightest shade. Clinique Beyond Perfecting foundation and concealer in 0.5. It Cosmetics CC cream in Fair. And then here's Dermacol 208, which is my closest shade match. The claims are a little bit different on Ulta and on PUR Cosmetics, so I'm just going to read you some. It says this high-performance 12-hour demi-matte foundation helps to cover imperfections and instantly perfect the skin while helping to correct problem areas over time so you can confidently bare it all. Formulated with PUR's proprietary energy complex and Ceratin complex. It doesn't say what those are. This formula renews the look of your skin and goes the distance. Okay, that told me nothing about the product. It says the same thing on PUR's website, except it also says it will not fade, quit, or crumble under any condition you may face throughout your day. Have you ever had your foundation crumble? I don't think that's a verb I've ever associated with the foundation. 12 hours, supposed to be long-lasting, demi-matte, doesn't really say anything about the kind of coverage. It is vegan, gluten-free, PUR is cruelty-free. So I have combination skin with cystic acne. I get pretty oily throughout the day on my T-zone especially. So I want to take 60 seconds to talk a little bit about lighting and everything. If you don't give a shit about that, you can fast forward. I'm going to put the timestamp on the screen right here if you don't want to hear the lighting spiel. This does have to do with the lighting and quality of the videos and seeing my skin and stuff. So I do want your guys' feedback and I want to hear your thoughts. So let me start off by saying, you guys know I have acne. I want you to be able to see my skin in videos. That is the whole point of effective foundation videos, in my opinion, is to actually see the foundation, be able to see your skin. With that being said, when I film at home, there is no way that I can film solely with natural lighting, which is why I have studio lights. Almost everyone has to film with studio lights because you cannot get high quality video without having good lighting. A lot of studio lights, especially if they're really close to your face, if you have a small room or something, can really kind of blow out the image and make your face look more flawless than it actually is. That is not my goal. I want you to be able to see my skin. I want you to be able to see the texture, which is why I've been trying my best to learn more about my camera, fix the aperture, change the ISO, do all this stuff. This is all trial and error. When I go to film, I don't just turn on studio lights and press play. I do not use filters. I didn't even know those existed for videos. I will never use filters for video. That defeats the whole purpose of actually being able to see what I'm talking about. In the last few videos, my lighting is not perfect. The white balance was majorly off in a couple of them. All these things you cannot really see on the viewfinder. It's not until you import it into Final Cut and have to tweak things around, and even then when you export it, it looks different than it does in Final Cut, at least on my computer. I am trying my best to have the best possible lighting, quality, and everything for you guys that looks realistic. The office is a whole other issue. There's been major construction going on there, which is why I'm filming here for most videos lately. In the office, there are 2 big windows. The way the building's facing, I still don't get enough light. There's definitely way more natural light coming in this room, but I still have to turn on a studio light. I'm determined to figure this out, which is why every single video has been different lighting and settings and everything. Let me know what you guys think of this right now. I am totally turned a different way than I normally am. I'm only using my ring light right now in front of the camera, which is what I used to film on, and I can actually dim it, which is really great because then when I'm showing close-ups, it's not totally blown out. You can actually see my skin. So your feedback on the video quality and image is always helpful for me. I just want you guys to know that I'm trying my best to show you my skin, okay? I'm gonna get this down very soon. Fingers crossed. All right, that talk is over. If you're excited for Foundation Friday, make sure you give this video a thumbs up so I know. If you want to see how the PUR Cosmetics Bare It All 12-hour 4-in-1 foundation applies and wears throughout the day, you're in the right place. Just keep watching. All right, so like usual, I've already washed, moisturized, and primed my face. Used my Jouer Anti-Blemish Matte Primer. I actually went to squirt this thing out, and there's a freaking slit in the bottom of this, and it squirted all over my wall. So like normal, I'm going to use a foundation brush on one side of my face and then a sponge on the other. This is actually the PUR Cosmetics sponge. I've used this a bunch before. I love this sponge. All of my foundation brushes right now are way past due on needing to be washed. Instead of my normal Sigma F80, I'm going in with this e.l.f. brush. Basically, this brush is the least dirty of all my brushes right now. Ooh, I like this squeeze tube. It's a little bit holographic. It reflects like a rainbow, which is exciting. Yeah, this is a big tube. I do feel like right now you can actually see the products better. Like when I hold up the Jouer, you can see Jouer. It doesn't just look like a white blob. It has a squeeze tube. I'm gonna squirt out about, I don't know how much coverage this has, so let's start with about a dime size amount. And it is thick. This is not going anywhere. So I'm gonna start with a brush on this side of my face. I'm gonna stipple like I normally do. It feels thick but moisturizing. And we are getting good coverage. It smells like, oh, what is this? It smells like Dancing Waters. Is that what that was called? That Bath & Body Works scent? Super fresh smelling. Yeah, it's setting down very quickly. It looks like a demi matte finish right now. I didn't even use half the amount that I squirt out there, so I'm just gonna go in with a little bit on the forehead. With this one layer on half my face with the brush is looking like high medium coverage, almost full coverage to me. It covered the things that I want covered though. I mean, it covered all of my redness, a lot of my scarring, and even some acne spots. It's mostly just like freckles and stuff that you can see coming through, which I don't mind. I have a feeling this is going to be buildable, but right now it's looking really nice on this side of my face. More of a matte finish for sure. Let's go in with the sponge. I can't tell if I like this scent or if it should just be a body lotion. So I'm getting way lighter coverage with the sponge. Yeah, if you want lighter coverage, definitely go in with a sponge. With this sponge, I would say this looks like low medium coverage, maybe even high light coverage. I'm adding a little bit more with this sponge to see if this is buildable, and then I might go in with a brush if it's not the same amount of coverage as the other side. So 2 layers with the sponge is getting about the same coverage as 1 layer with a brush. I think this shade is actually kind of spot on for me. I would say this finish is very flawless demi matte. It doesn't look cakey at all. It's setting really quick. It almost feels like nothing on my face, but it doesn't look flat. I mean, you can still see light reflecting off my face a little bit. The cool thing about using the ring light is I can actually turn down the light when I get up close so you guys can see my skin. So as you can see, there's still freckles and marks coming through, so it's not completely full coverage off of 1 layer for me. But if you don't have major acne or scarring or anything, I think this would look full coverage off of 1 layer for you. I could even just go in and spot conceal, but to see if it's buildable with the brush, I'm gonna go in for a 2nd layer. Hoping this doesn't oxidize, because if it oxidizes, it will definitely be too dark, but right now it is matching pretty much perfectly. I have some product left over from the sponge side, so I'm gonna go in for a little bit of a 2nd layer on this side just to cover up the scarring and stuff. See if it's buildable. Definitely buildable, and it's still looking really nice. Doesn't look heavy or cakey at all. Wow, I'm kind of impressed right now. For some reason with the name Bare It All, I thought it was going to be more sheer coverage, and it doesn't say online or anything what kind of coverage it's supposed to be. All right, so 2 layers on, we are at full coverage, and it is looking good. I love the way my forehead looks right now. It's not clinging to any dry patches on my forehead at all. Just kind of smoothing out certain areas I missed with the brush. The center of my forehead, especially with matte foundations, is where I can look very textured and a little bit cakey normally, and right now it is looking totally smooth. My forehead looks great. The only area that looks a tiny bit heavy is around my nose area and my upper lip, so I'm just gonna use the sponge. Nothing major at all. This looks good. I'm excited. So right now it's 11:58, so 12 o'clock. I'm getting a late start today because I was working this morning. Since this is a demi matte finish and it says it's supposed to wear for 12 hours and it sets to almost a powder finish. I'm not going to set this one with a powder, so we're just going to see how it wears throughout the day. So I'm going to do the rest of my makeup, and then I'll show you guys a close-up once all of my makeup is on. Okay, so it's now 12:20. So like I said, I didn't use a powder. Blush, bronzer, highlight, blend it out beautifully on top. It blends out like you have a powder on. Doesn't stick, doesn't have that gross tacky feeling when you try to blend powder on top. It pretty much totally sets down on its own. It still looks really nice and skin-like. My forehead, I am loving the way my forehead looks. It looks almost like plump. It kind of looks like the IT Cosmetics CC cream in the sense that it just looks really nice and plump and healthy. So here's the nose area I was talking about. I don't think you can totally, oh, there we go. Pores right here and nose area, but nothing bad at all. Right now I am feeling this one, which if you guys have seen any of my foundation videos is pretty rare. We'll see how it wears throughout the day. It could be a total disaster by the end of the day, but right now I am really liking this. All right, so on the rest of my face to contour, I used my Catrice Prime and Fine contouring palette. I just did a video on my favorite contour products for pale skin. If you missed that, I will put it in the eye over here. Every single time I have to think which side my lip ring is on. Blush, I've been using this a ton. This is the Physicians Formula Butter Blush in Natural Glow. This is a very, very faint blush, so this probably wouldn't show up if you have a darker skin tone than I do. Highlight is my MAC Mineral Skin Finish in Lightscapade. And for eyeshadow, I use the Too Faced Sweet Peach. I want to know your guys' thoughts on the Too Faced palette down below because I'm not that into it. Physicians Formula Eye Booster for my eyeliner like normal. Then we'll also see how this holds up throughout the day because I've never tried this before. This is a new Makeup Forever liquid lipstick. This is in the shade 101. Is that it? Is there no name? I like the way that this went on, dried down in about a minute, like the shade. So that is everything on my face right now. I'm gonna check back in with you guys. The next check-in I do will be in natural lighting. I'm gonna keep this on as long as possible. I don't know if I'm gonna make it till 12 a.m. to get the full 12 hours, but we are gonna shoot for it. All right, so it is now 4 o'clock. I'm actually filming this check-in on my iPhone, but it's on the app that I use to get 4K video, so it should be really good quality right now. I just went to run errands, and in the car mirror, it looked really good. To me, it looks like a soft focus foundation. It has that kind of blurring effect. It is bizarre. My only really minor complaint right now is around my nose is looking a tiny bit textured. It's only been on for 4 hours, so we'll see by the end of the night, but right now it is looking pretty much flawless, and I'm in love right now. I just love the way my forehead looks. Normally I'm super textured up here. It just looks very smooth and soft. All right, so it is now 10:22, so the foundation has been on for almost 10.5 hours, and this is about my normal wear time, 10 hours. Got my tea because it's freaking freezing in here. If you can't tell, I think it looks freaking amazing. It's worn really well throughout the day. I usually get pretty oily on my forehead, and this is very, very mild for me, especially not using a powder at all. I even think this shininess literally just came in the last half hour to hour because before that, it was still pretty much totally matte. Blush, bronzer, highlight is still totally on. I actually didn't get too much more creasing on my upper lip at all, but around my nose area is the only part where I think it could look a little bit better. I'm going to try using a pore filling primer to see if I can make my nose area look a little bit smoother and less creasy throughout the day, but literally everywhere else looks great. It hasn't oxidized. I think the shade is perfect for me actually. I usually don't like a demi matte finish, but I think this is almost kind of a soft focus satin matte finish, I would say. If you like that, I think even if you have dry skin, this one might work because, I mean, it really made my forehead look great. If you have any kind of texture or anything, this just totally blurs it out in my opinion. Since it almost kind of plumped my forehead and didn't settle into any lines, I think more mature skin could wear this one too. I really like this. I am very pleasantly surprised right now. This was a major win for me and I am shocked. I made asparagus for dinner and the oil totally took off the liquid lipstick. So I did change my liquid lipstick. I tried the Sephora liquid lipstick. This is in the shade 33. I really like the formula of these, and these are only 14 bucks. I have the shade 33, and then I also have the lightest one. I think it's 22. I just watched The Bachelor, Corinne and Taylor getting intense, and now I'm about to edit this thing. So if you guys like this video and you enjoy Foundation Fridays, I almost said 15 days of foundation, make sure you give this video a thumbs up so I know. You can always let me know down below what foundation you want to see next. Love you guys. Thanks for watching. See you in my next video. Bye.